We just want to get into royal news now. New details today have revealed that the late Queen was so infuriated that Prince Harry and Meghan had called their daughter Lilibet, that one aide said it was the angriest they had ever seen her. Before we get to that, we're going to talk about the royal news, the big monarchy news in Denmark. And joining us now, royal correspondent and writer Rafe is with us now. Rafe, what have you
Heydel-Mankoo, yeah.
Well, today actually is quite interesting. Today is the first day since 1730, almost 300 years, where nowhere in the world is there a female reigning monarch, which is quite interesting. We've got 6 women coming to be, who will become queen in the years to come, but right now there's none because, of course, we had yesterday the abdication of the Queen of Denmark, Queen Margrethe, Europe's longest reigning monarch. We had a lovely positive ceremony where she abdicated and handed over the throne to her son, the Crown Prince, who is now King Frederick X of Denmark. Since the 1500s in Denmark, all male monarchs have alternated their name between Frederick and Christian. So there have been 10 Christians, now 10 Fredericks. There's no history of abdication in Denmark. It's been 900 years since the last abdication. So Queen Margrethe, always doing things her own way throughout her reign, ends the reign in just the same way. So we saw for the first time the sovereign of Denmark signing her abdication. Normally, the succession always happens just after a king or queen dies. It's always a very sombre occasion. So uniquely now, we've had a very positive, upbeat, uplifting ceremony. We saw the royal family at Christiansborg Palace being cheered by immense crowds who had gathered, and the king on the balcony was cheered, as we can see right now, and the royal family. To his right, we see his crown prince now, his 18-year-old son. And there is the new Queen Mary from Australia. And Australians have been cock-a-hoop about all of this, and the Australian government have actually made a donation to save the Tasmanian devil, because Queen Mary was born in Hobart, Tasmania, in her honour.
But lived in Scotland for a while.
Well, yes, her family are Scottish, actually. But you can see the huge crowds there. In Denmark, support for the monarchy is about 85%. It's Europe's oldest monarchy, but with support level that high, could easily last for another 1,200 years.
And how? Because obviously the abdication came as a big shock on New Year's Eve. No one saw it come, or no one was expecting it. Perhaps unlike where we've seen this happen previously in other royal families. Does that play in, I suppose, anything to the debate around whether or not it would affect our popularity for our affection towards the royal family if there was an abdication there? Do you think the royals here look at what's going on?
This is something I've been thinking about for over a decade now, and of course it's the trend across Europe to abdicate. Even popes do it now, right?
Yeah.
Also in the Middle East. Our sovereign, the Queen, and I think also the King, very much believe this is a sacrament of coronation. It's a holy order, is there until death. My own my own theory is that if it's going to happen, it would happen in Prince William's reign. You know, he'll get to the throne when he's around 60 or so, possibly, if not, not 70. And the whole point of the monarchy, I think, at his best points was when it was a young Queen Victoria, young Queen Elizabeth. And it may be that Prince William decides, similarly, around the age of 70 or 75, let's give my son a chance to become a young monarch and capture the spirit of the nation again.
It's an ageing population, isn't it? People live on and on and on in a way that has never happened before. With royal families, and obviously a lot of monarchs traditionally used to be killed in battles and all the rest of it. So all of that's gone. It becomes a challenge, doesn't it? Not to say that I don't want the king to stay in post, of course. It's highly controversial still, but an interesting discussion point.
Well, it's remarkable to think, you know, if King George VI had lived as long as his wife, our queen wouldn't have become queen until 2002 or something like that, right?
Right.
Our queen, the one before this one, it's front page of the papers today. The Mail is reporting her fury over Harry and Meghan calling their daughter Lilibet.
Yes, this is the latest serialisation in the Mail of Robert Hardman's excellent book on the King and what happened in the days and hours around the Queen's death. But it's a wonderful book because it's actually exploding many of the myths we had being touted in spare. On the weekend, we found out that actually the royal family did try to contact Prince Harry when the Queen died, but he was in the air, unreachable. So that explodes one myth in spare, and now another one. The Queen said to be as angry as she had ever been over the claim by the Sussexes that she had given her blessing to the use of the name Lilibet. Lilibet, a very personal, private name of the Queen's, only used by intimate members of the royal family with her. The palace says recollections may vary, and I think that's the best way to sum it up.
Not again. All right, we have to leave it there. Rafe, Heydel-Mankoo, always fascinating to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. I wonder what we'll find out tomorrow from Robert Hardman's book. I'm looking forward to it coming out on Thursday.
Whatever there is to find out, you'll find it out here from 6 a.m.